Man and the Sea is an English fiction, but in Commander Abhilash Tomy's experience, Young Man and the Sea is an Indian glory and reality. In this prestigious interview series, this time Commander Abhilash Tomy is our guest. Huge congratulations on your incredible achievement.
Thank you.
2018, you could not complete the circumnavigation, but surviving all odds in this year, you have made it and creating history. How do you feel about the success of yours?
The success is much sweeter because of the fact that in 2018 I couldn't complete it. So yeah, I'm very proud that I've been able to finish it, and very relieved as well. I remembered those words when I was doing the last circumnavigation, doing this Golden Globe race, and I tweeted from sea that man cannot be defeated. He can be destroyed, but he cannot be defeated.
What was the biggest challenge in this entire expedition this time?
Well, it's a series of challenges, not just one point where things go wrong. I had a bit of a tough time finding a sponsor, but thankfully I found some incredible people who supported me. I was running short on time to make it to the start line, but again, thanks to the help of a lot of people, I made it to the start line despite the fact that I suffered, my boat suffered an accident, and the entire bow had to be replaced and some work on the mast needed to be done. And during the race itself, there were a lot of small problems with the boat, including my self-steering getting damaged at Cape Horn, then mainsail ripping or running out of water, or things like that. So yeah, there was a series of problems, and finally I finished after 236 days.
In 2012, you completed another major expedition. 11 years later, you completed this Golden Globe race. This period, what are the things you involved in?
So I took part in Golden Globe race 2018. That's one major thing that I did. I was planning to fly around the world, but due to certain issues that did not work out. Other than that, I've been involved with sailing in the sense that I've been a member of the Yachting Association of India, and I've been they've been taking my views on how to make things better for sailing. I'm also the president of the J80 class association. So we conduct offshore races from Chennai, through this association. Plus I'm a member of a few clubs, and I kind of help them out whenever needed.
What was your daily routine in yacht Bayanat as a sailor sailing single-handed?
So my daily routine was divided into the things that I had to do on time, and any emergency that happened. So the things that I had to do was, let's say, have breakfast at a certain time. The next major meal used to be a dinner, which I had to cook, and in between I had to do my celestial navigation, for which I needed the sun to be at a certain position. So these are the things that you have to do daily. But other than that, if there was some problem with the boat, you attend to it. If the wind picks up, you take a reef or you adjust your sails. And this is something that you do continuously. There is no stop for it. And whenever you get time, you go to sleep.
So how you manage to arrange these type of foods?
As per my manager's calculations, I needed about something like 6 to 8 lakh calories to finish this race. And what we did is we tried to source food from 3 different places. One was tinned meat, which I used to have with cooked rice, and I had food from DFRL, Defense Food Research Laboratories. That food, you can just open the packet and eat it, or just heat it a little bit and then eat. And I had freeze-dried food, which is you add hot water to it, and then it becomes edible and you can eat that. Other than this, I had muesli and milk for breakfast, a lot of cashew and peanuts for snacks, and yeah, that's what I mostly carried. A lot of popcorn also.
In the rough sea, facing many problems, so most time you will be up. How many hours you'll sleep?
Well, on a good day, you get to sleep about 5 hours, and that was not at a stretch. You sleep and then get up and do something, and then you sleep for 15 minutes, get up and check if things are fine, and you keep doing this for 8 months.
I read in an article you stored rainwater for survival.
So rainwater is, you don't have a choice. That's the only way you can get some fresh water in the boat. And when I set off, I collected about 30 to 40 liters of rainwater before the equator. But in the Southern Ocean, it became quite difficult to collect rainwater. On the return leg, I managed about 150 liters of rainwater from close to the equator.
A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. How much do you agree with this?
In my experience, it's the toughest part of sailing is sailing when there is no wind. It's very stressful and it's very tiring to keep the boat moving when there is no wind. In a storm, it's much easier to keep the boat moving.
We have often time heard about the news of various sea creatures and very dangerous pirates. Did you encounter any such moments?
Luckily, no, but I went through two areas which were of concern. So the thing is, close to Portugal, orcas have started attacking, orca, which is a kind of whale, they've started attacking sailboats. And these orcas are teaching their little ones to, attack in the same way. And this has led to the sinking of a few boats already. And close to West Africa, I was warned that there is a threat of piracy. It was not a very safe place. Luckily, I did not have to encounter any of these problems.
You are a Navy man. Do you think your military experience and training was advantageous in some way in undertaking such difficult solo yacht expeditions?
First, it was, of course, I had an edge because of my naval training, and one bit was because of the knowledge that I gained from the Navy. For example, navigation or meteorology or oceanography and things like that, which are taught as subjects in the Navy, and especially, as a pilot, you're taught a lot about meteorology, so that really helped. But other than that, our training at Naval Academy helped me a lot in dealing with the problems that I encountered and finding solutions and not giving up.
Every time you return from the sea, do you feel like it's calling you back?
I do, and I feel like going back to the sea quickly again.
Okay, so which one is the most favorite place, the land or the sea?
Sea.
Sea, why? The philosophical
No,
thing.
the thing is, when there are people, there's too much noise. They're asking for your attention, and when you're surrounded by people, you're always living an external life. But when you're alone, for a long time, your journey becomes an internal journey. And the more you stay away from the world, you can understand the world much better.
Then how do you feel to adjust to live in land? Do you feel blue?
It's tough. It's tough, but having survived the sea, I'm sure I can survive this also.
Okay. When coming to the personal things, are you a believer in God?
Absolutely.
Then, so which is the most toughest and challenging situation you ever faced in the sea?
I think in this race, the toughest situation I think would have been the accident of 2018 when I fractured my spine, and then there was a storm, and I was waiting to be rescued. It took 4 days for somebody to even get close to me. So probably that would be the toughest situation I've faced till now.
Okay. Ever you miss the family, your kids while sailing?
This time, yes, I miss my family quite a lot, and in fact, one of the problems was I couldn't communicate with my wife. I didn't know what was happening at home, and but I knew that my wife was planning to put my kid in school when I was away, but I had no idea whether she was actually able to do that or not. So all these things were gnawing into me, and it was a bit of concern.
So each time you will meet an Indian in sea. So what about this time?
This time I did meet a guy called Alfaz. He's from
Alfaz is from?
Ernakulam.
From Kerala.
From Kerala, of course. Okay. I met Alfaz from Ernakulam, close to Uruguay. I met a ship called Omados, and their skipper was, we have common friends in India. So their skipper was Indian. The captain was Indian, and this was this was north of Canary Islands. Just before I rounded Cape Horn, I met a ship with an Indian crew. So yeah, I did meet quite a lot of people at sea.
In your entire journey, which was the most difficult area you sailed?
I would say that was the rounding of Cape Horn.
Cape Horn.
Yes, and just
near Chile.
Near Chile, yes, and just before Cape Horn, I had I went through 2 pretty bad storms. The first one was on 26th January, and the second one was on 7th of February. And the 7th February storm, toppled my boat 2 times. I had 2 knockdowns, and it caused a lot of damage to the boat. And I kept repairing these things, but finally my wind pilot, paddle of the wind pilot broke, and I had to find a solution very quickly because I was very close to Chile. The wind was pushing me onto Chile, onto land, and I had about between 30 to 40 knots of wind, which is quite a lot, and a lot of waves. and the night was falling and there were no lighthouses around, so it was quite interesting.
In every voyage, there are so many uncertainties ahead, and we don't have any clarity regarding what are the things coming in front of us. What about the windstorms? Once you said that you always like windstorm because just like a competitor in the sea. How was your experience this time regarding the windstorms and knockdowns?
Well, I really enjoyed the storms. In fact, there was a point when I was complaining that there are no storms.
No storm.
And I say that it's only when you go through a storm that you can say Paisa Vasool.
Paisa Vasool, why?
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, what's the point in going till Cape Horn if you don't find a storm? You might as well just sail, in the Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea.
So your target was 210 days, but you completed in 236.
So I kept a target of 210 based on the last race, 2018 race, and another fact was this race was happening slightly later. So I was expecting, 2018 race started in July. This one was starting in September, and I expected slightly favorable winds in the Southern Ocean. But the thing is, the race organizers had put too many waypoints, too many gates, and the the southern exclusion limit was also too far north, so we had too many high pressures, and we kept waiting to get into gates because we ran out of winds. Almost every competitor ran out of winds, and due to all these reasons the race took much longer.
Do you think the country like India extending supports for expeditions of such kind?
Well, at least in my experience, the Navy has really supported me. The Navy has, if I were not a naval officer, I don't think I could have done any kind of sailing. But beyond that, I'm quite surprised that even now corporates are very shy to extend support.
So do you think the Indian government should relax some laws to encourage adventure tourism, especially the sea sports?
Absolutely. So in India, one problem I've seen is that either there is no regulation or there is a lot of regulation. We are not quite able to find that golden mean where things are safe at the same time we are promoting sailing. So yeah, we need to really work on this.
So this is your break time. How have you planned your future voyages as a seaman?
Well, right now I'm just focusing on the break to regain my health, spend time with my family, and meet all the people who supported me and express my gratitude. But that doesn't mean that I'm not thinking of the future. I am in my head already planning some races and voyages and stuff like that, more adventures, and I'll tell about them as we come closer to it.
So such sports, it's very difficult to get a sponsor. Fortunately, you got a good sponsor by Anath. What's your experience in knocking doors to get a sponsor in each time?
Well, this time I was lucky to have a sponsor from a fantastic sponsor like Bayanath, and I had the support of Jellyfish Water Sports.
It's an Indian company, right?
Yes, it's a water sports company, and they've been supporting me in 2018 and this race as well. They were my conservation partners this time. But other than that, my experience with Indian sponsor has been quite bad, and I really don't understand why nobody would support sailing. In 2013, when I did my first non-stop circumnavigation, it was considered so important an achievement that the President of India himself came down to receive me, and that's something that's never happened in our history. The President has never received anybody outside of Rashtrapati Bhavan. 2018, I had the numbers, as in I had the figures of earned media valuation for the race, and that was quite encouraging, and I thought that people would support me in 2022 at least on the basis of that. But I believe people in India think that sailing as a sport doesn't get eyeballs, so it's not worth investing money. At the same time, I'm very lucky that I got Bayanath as sponsors, and when somebody mentioned this to Bayanath that Abhilash is looking for money for the next race and this is his background, I think they made their decision within probably 5 minutes. They said yes. We had a meeting, and even before I signed a contract with them, Bionath was already dispersing the money and starting to work on their side of the story. So yeah, I'm quite lucky that finally, because of a UAE company, the Indian flag could go around the world and find a position on the podium.
Approximately, what's the cost of such expeditions?
So GGR is supposed to be one of the most inexpensive around the world races, and if you want to do a race from India, I think somebody should budget anywhere between 4 to 5 crores. If you do the race from based out of Europe, it could be 3 crores. If you want to put in your effort over a period of 2 or 3 years, your labor to prepare a boat, you can even do it in 2 crores and probably sell the boat in 1 crore when you come back, and you spent only 1 crore. The next round the world race is called the OGR, Ocean Globe Race, which is a team round the world race. That could cost anywhere up to 10 to 15 CR. Then there is One Day Globe, which is a single-handed round the world non-stop. That could be 50 to 60 CR. And then you've got
60 CR.
Yeah, what used to be called the Volvo Ocean Race is now called the Ocean Race, and that could go up to probably 100 plus.
All right. So what's your advice to the Indian youth into these adventurous sports? You have any plan to start an academy or mentor the young people?
Well, I personally don't want to start an academy because that will mean I'll have to work with panchayats and state governments and work with all the regulations, and I've done a lot of file pushing in
Red-tapeism.
Yeah, I've done a lot of file pushing in South Block and North Block, and I mean that's a project in itself. So one of the reasons why I wanted to retire was I wanted private sponsorship for GGR. There's a certain level to which a government can help an athlete or a sport, and I wanted to prove that if a private sponsor steps in and they sponsor GGR, they will get immense value out of it, which is what has happened right now. So my sponsors are quite happy with the results, and I think they believe that the money is quite well spent. So yeah, I hope that yachting in India finds the same support as cricket does or any other sport.
All right, it's a very inspiring moment. Appreciate your time, Commander Abhilash Tomy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to our channel.